Well, we finished up everything on our Visitor 650i for the convertible top, so that's all working now. The other one that it was having was a leak in the windshield washer, and so I thought I'd have a look at that real quick while I still had it here, and it's easy to get to on the lift. So basically the washer bottle is inside here on the driver's side wheel well. And what you got to do is just take a few screws out on the inner panel. You don't even have to take the wheel off. Come to find out, if you just jack the car up, of course on the lift it's easy, but it gives you a lot of clearance right here with the suspension down. So you could just put a jack under the car and get the wheel up. And on the lift it's real easy. So what you would do is rotate the steering wheel, and that gives you access to these screw, and one here and one there, and that'd be 3. And then you can rotate it back the other way, and you can get access to, pull it back, get access to the screws in the back, which are back here. And then I think that's about it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the top one you don't have to take out, and that should be about it. So just a few screws, and then what you can do is you actually can open this up carefully. You just pull it out from underneath the plastic a little bit. There we go. And with the wheel out, just tuck it behind the wheel temporarily, and there's the water bottle. And so we see that this one's leaking. And so if I get the flashlight right, you can kind of see the level of the blue fluid. Where it leaks down to is the level of the second one. So it's at the height of this one. So most likely this one's leaking. So it could either be a fitting or it could be the grommet. But most likely the little pump's just giving way, and it's just a seal inside the pump. So we don't know if it's leaking or not, so I'm going to put some water in it, and we'll check and see if water comes dripping out, and then we'll know for sure. We can also fill it all the way up and see if this one's leaking as well. So let's get us some water. We got the cap off. So we're just going to put a little water in here. Alright, let's see if that's enough to get us up high enough. Having the blue stuff is nice. So I got it up to the, it's not up to this one yet. It's just at this one. And right now I don't see any leaks. So I would say the pump little motor has gone bad, and it's leaking through the middle of the pump. So let's add some more water, and we'll see if this top one's leaking. Okay, so now we got the water level up above. So you can see the water level's here. So we got the water level up above this one, and we're still not feeling any leaks. So we get tons of water, but the little one is not doing anything down there. And we're still not seeing any leaks. Oh, yep, we've started to see a leak. So right here, I can put my finger underneath this, and you can see that my finger's wet. So this little one is leaking. So as soon as I actuated it, this little one started leaking. And it makes sense because the fluid level was down here, so it wasn't up here at the top. So maybe the upper one is still good. So most likely it's going to be the lower one. Yeah, because this one's not leaking. All right, so we figured out our leak. You can see here now it's getting wet, and so we know it's that little one. So if this car is like any other car, doesn't matter the make of the car, most of these things are just sitting down into the water bottle with a little rubber grommet. And you would think the little grommet might be bad, but in most cases, like any other car, the little internal seal gives way, and then the leak comes through the motor. So what we're going to do now is we'll turn the car back off, and we're going to pull this little motor out and see if we can get us a new one. So let's go ahead and turn the car off. All right, so at this point we got to take the little pump out. So let me see if I can do it one-handed. But you should be able to just pick up on the little pump. It just sits in that little pocket. So you just tip it sideways, and you should be able to just pull up on it, and it'll come out of there. All right, so I just pulled up on the little pump. Now all the water's going to come out. So we'll get this little pump took off. Basically, you just have to take the connector loose from the top, and then take the little tube off the side, and we'll pull that little pump out of there and see if we can find a replacement for it. A lot of times you'd think it's that little seal gone bad. Most times, because these are only, you can get you a cheap one for $20 to $25, and you'll be able to put that back in there, and just in case it's an internal leak, then you'll solve that leak as well. So it's worthwhile just to go ahead and change it out versus trying to figure out how to get a reseal on that. All right, so we got our old pump, and we're going to replace that with our new pump. And I'll show you a little trick to this. So most time when the old pump comes off, you pull it off, the rubber is stuck on it, and so this comes off. But that's not how it's going to go back on there very easy. This little rubber piece doesn't want to go down into the bottle very well. But what you can do is, with your new one, first off, what you want to do is take some dish soap. So get you some dish soap from the kitchen, whatever flavor you like. And what we're going to do is actually put a little dish soap on our finger. If I can get it to come out. Not a whole lot, because you're going to get bubbles in your window washer. But what you're going to do is put some dish soap on this, and also put some dish soap on the outside of this one. And what we're going to do is insert the rubber thing into the washer bottle, and then we're going to insert that into the rubber thing. And that's the easiest way to do it. That way the rubber expands onto the bottle. And so step one is to take the grommet, and we're going to put it in the water bottle. So you just put it down in the hole and go ahead and push it in place. And you can feel it's kind of tight. We'll get the camera in there. So I'm going to push that in there with my finger. Make sure it's nice and seated. You can barely see it in there. So after that's seated, now we go after the motor. And so I've already put soap bubbles on its little stinger. And so now we're going to set the little motor in there. And there we go. So all I did was just tip it forward and then just snap it down in there. So that's the easy way to do it, because if you try to put the rubber grommet on and push it down in there, you're never going to get it into that water bottle. So just put a little bit of soap bubbles in there, and now all we got to do is put our connector back on. We get the orientation right. Snap the connector in place, and the only thing left is the little rubber hose. And so he goes on the new pump, and that's how you do it. So not too hard to do. The only hard part is figuring out how to put the little rubber grommet in there, and like I say, just put it in there ahead of time, put it into the water bottle, and then push the little pump's end down into the grommet with some dish soap, and away you go. So the last of it is just putting it back together. All we're going to do is just flip that back over, push it back under, and put the screws back in, and we have successfully changed out our little washer pump that was leaking. And I'll put some water in it before I button it up and just cycle it again and make sure everything's good. So hopefully that helps someone. Well, thanks for watching.